Welcome to the Love, Sex, and Leadership podcast, where you can discover simple tantric teachings to embody your true power, awaken your soul's wisdom, and live an inspired life as a natural, intuitive, and heart-centered leader.
Receiving a deep breath in. Just placing your hand on the heart, or hand on the belly or the balls. Connecting into this body temple. And the question of inquiry is, how is your relationship with your value? Do you value the time and the energy you put into the world? Do you undervalue yourself? Do you show up and recognize the value that you bring as a father, as a man, as a partner, as a business owner? Do you let people take advantage of you? Do you stand strong in your beliefs and ideas? Do you have a capacity to receive the input of others? What value do you place upon you as a man in society? Are you constantly comparing yourself to people you see, social media, the news, and any area of life? Do you wake up each morning and recognize the gift of life that you bring to each and every moment? The way in which your mere value of presence and love is essentially priceless. It has no price that can be put upon it. So breathe in that energy. Let it go of the sound. Opening your eyes when you're ready. So this morning we're going to do a practice diving deep into our relationship with money. Anyone ever have challenges with this in their life? Anyone? No? Yeah. And the other thing that we'll be looking at is our capacity as a man to receive feedback, our capacity to know our value, but then to also, in knowing our value, have the capacity to be seen through the eyes of others, which we kind of opened the doorway to that the other day in some of the mirrors and reflections in the group sharing. So we'll just take a few minutes here just to share some of the, you could say, principles or values that I look at in terms of, my own relationship with money in the world. And as a young child, money definitely didn't grow on trees, and there was, I remember often bill collectors and individuals would call the house, and I picked up the phone, and I could see my parents on the other side. Tell them I'm not home. That was a pretty standard operation for my 6 to 10-year-old, of answering the phone for my parents to tell the people that were trying to get money out of them that they weren't home. They were never home. And also in the winter, there's numerous winters I remember when we just happened to have candlelight dinners, and had to have a candle in the bathroom. And I grew up in Boston, and we're not paying for electricity. It got pretty cold sometimes. Not all the time, of course. They did their best, and I love and appreciate both of them. But the place of valuing themselves and valuing the work that they were bringing in, and also just the relationship to money. Money, in my perspective, is this means of energy exchange. Part of the somatic journey that will take more around money is unpacking some of where the beliefs and the ideas and the thought processes and the interpretations of reality are around, this currency, around this piece of paper that we carry around, that we spend a lot of time, energy, value in our lives acquiring. And, I found in my own life, there's times when I've had a lot, there's times when I've had a little. I've had a lot of different meaning structures around that, but what I have noticed is that I get to make the meaning of what it is inside of me, and someone doesn't need to do that for me. What has been higher on my values in the last 4 or 5 years was landing and grounding more earth temples, and that was part of my inspiration with Bali. And as soon as I had that recognition, it was like I had to then open myself to learn how to receive more. I've never been driven by just putting this into the bank. I have friends I grew up with that have just been driven by I want more money, more money, more money. It's never been a drive for me. When I was able to connect my desire for living on the earth and connecting more to nature in that way, to recognizing, in order to do that, I have to make some more of this. Okay, what do I need to do to make more of this? I can do this, I can offer this course, I can do these retreats, etc. And I really saw that the value behind my decision making wasn't to try to prove my worth by getting more money in the bank account, because when I was a sailor operating ships around the world, I made a fuck ton of money. I had a lot of money, spent a lot of money, and it just came naturally and easily, and then a lot of money came and a lot of money went, and then I found myself in a similar place, 5-10 years later. And I was able to connect the dots more to recognize, this is what inspires me. And some people are inspired by the zeros in their bank account. That hasn't inspired me. I see how that can add value to the things I want to do in the world, and by doing that, I realize I need to have more zeros in the bank account to show up in this way. And this, to me, is one of the important pieces, especially for a man driven in the world and wanting to be on purpose and wanting to show up and be a provider and support himself and his family. And have any of you ever struggled in that way with being a provider and supporting your loved ones? Yeah, and it feels like, how does that feel inside? It's like, fuck, I can't even fucking show up and support the people I love. And so part of what I want to invite us into deeper today is to look at, what beliefs and ideas are you still holding on to? Just as we did with our, aspects of our sexual body this week, just as we've done with aspects of our emotional body. The beliefs and the ideas that we hold around money are these stagnant half spins of quantum energy in the body that keep attracting the same situations, which is probably why you keep having the same money situation over and over and over again, because there's something in that situation that you haven't learned to love, honor, and appreciate yet. And when you meet it face to face and say, I see what this is reminding me of. I see how this is making me feel all the pain and agony and suffering and things that I went through as a child, or challenges around money. And I'm far from fucking perfect around money, but I've gone a long way based upon continually meeting not just money, but the somatic imprint it has in my body. The other side of my childhood, my sister was like, I don't want to have any worries whatsoever about money ever, and she's a partner at one of the largest financial management companies in the world, dealing with millions and billions of dollars across her desk. Super tight about money, but has a lot of it and does well. Just she's like, I want my kids to never have to worry about money. The result I see with that is the kids are quite spoiled with money. They have everything they want, which is amazing, but it's like, look at this ebb and flow that happens. You think you want to provide all this stuff, but is that actually the gift that's going to support the growth and evolution of the soul? And I look at, my two nephews, and they're having their own soul's journey. They've certainly called this in. They have a lot of abundance around them. I'm sure they'll have their journey and what is there for their growth. But more important is, if you look at your own life, where have your continual struggles been with money? Where have your continual places that you've hit the same brick wall over and over again? And if you ask yourself, well, what's the gift? What is this brick wall trying to show me? What is it trying to bring into my awareness? And how can I through that situation, learn to love, honor, and value myself more on the inside. Because if you're out there, doing whatever you're doing, but inside you feel empty, broken, and not actually worth the value that you're putting on the table, you're probably going to attract situations like that. So part of the rearranging and the shifting on what's happening on the inside is so that what's happening on the outside changes. For me, that change was I felt good on the inside, but I didn't have an associated value and worth to having money in the bank to be able to provide the things that I wanted more in life. Because in my 20s and when I was traveling, I had everything I wanted. I made good money, I traveled, I did what I wanted to do. I was like, why do I need more of it? Do what I want to do. And then as I started to realize, there's things that I want more of. There's other more levels of stability, of structure that I want to support both myself and beloveds coming into my life and family to be able to feel more of that stability so that they can flourish as well. So we're looking at really at the base around money, our relationship to safety, our relationship to being safe in this body. And if there's some part of you that's not feeling safe in this body, which is why all throughout this week we've just been going back to into the body, feeling what's alive, feeling what's there, so that safety can actually be rewired into a deeper level of strength inside of you. Deep breath in.
I used to hate money. And I'd been through many different journeys with money. The imprint that I got about money was bad. The people who had money were bad. They were the drug dealers, the gangsters, the salespeople. My father just made money and never sent it back to the family. He was always working away, and then when he died, he left us in a huge amount of debt, and we had to sell the house. And so for me, I remember him taking me one time to town to go buy a Mont Blanc pen, and we didn't have food in the fridge. And he goes and buys a £400 Mont Blanc pen, which in the 80s would be a lot of fucking money. I was super confused. And the message that I got was like, money is bad. Money is something that makes us do bad things, and it's something that you can only make through doing things you don't want to do. That was my message. I went to work in casinos, stealing money from people. I went to work in sales in Mexico, stealing money from people. And I made a fuck ton of money. And I had an apartment in Cancun. I had a BMW convertible. I had everything that I wanted. And I was completely numb because I wasn't following this. I was following this. Deep breath. But it was okay because it was just me, and I could do what I want. I could have money, and then I lost money, and it was no problem. And then I have kids, and I'm like, holy shit! Now what do I do? Now if I don't have food in the fridge, it not only affects me, but it now affects these beings that I brought into this world, and they're looking at me to take care of them. Am I going to do the same thing my father did? And I was like, in this journey of, I want to make money from doing something that I love. I want to study psychology. I want to work with people. And I was terrified because I was convinced still at that point, you cannot make money doing the things that you love. People who work in charities, people who work in non-profits, they don't make money. So there was always this, if you make money, you have to cheat, and otherwise you're just going to survive. So I had to really fight with this and really work with this in order to constantly go for what it was that was my deep burning desire, which was to work with people. And I had to face it again and again and again. My wife ended up leaving me because we didn't have enough money, many other things, but because I wasn't able to provide yet the lives that I believed that we could have. And now I'm there. And now I'm selling coaching programs for $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000. Did I believe that that was possible back then? No. Do I believe it now? Yes. Deep breath. But it still comes up. They're still like, oh no, I can't charge more. I can't up my prices. I'm constantly being faced by these challenges around what is my value. And yet there's people around the world who believe their value so deeply that money just flows to them. So what is the ceiling? We all have this ceiling. And we constantly meeting, I've met this all the time, this new ceiling of what is the possibilities? What are the quantum possibilities for attracting abundance in my life? I believe it's something I'll be working with until the day that I do it. And can I let it go? And can I let it go knowing that I can survive if I have to? I've seen what happens when I've lost all my money and when I've done that with kids, and I will do anything. I worked in school and cleaned toilets and fixed stuff in the school for a year. Cleaning 3 to 4 hours a day at the beginning of my journey while I was studying psychology. And I've never felt so proud of myself during this time. I could go and look at my kids in the eye and go, I am working towards something, and I will never let him down. So I know no matter what happens, I will always survive and my family will always survive. And that gives me the power to find my value in my life right now. Deep breath.
As we dive into these subjects, it's really a looking at in your own life where your relationship has been with money, where the high points, the low points, and ultimately, where have you probably been getting in your own way? Where have you been, sabotaging yourself and your capacity? And, in the realms of this world of psychology and transformational coaching, I also feel that there should be a value upon the knowledge, awareness, and expertise people are bringing in. What I also see is people that really get great at marketing and money and things like that sometimes aren't always delivering the same quantity and value, but that's the value that they're putting to it. And that's really the gift of it. It's like if there's something inside of you and you know the impact that you can make in both your life and the lives of others, and you put a value to it and you stand to it, that's essentially what we do when we go to the supermarket. We look at an item that's like, this value, is this the value that I agree upon to purchase this thing? Yes, okay, I'm buying it. Who sets that price? All these different things. So who sets the value of the things and the offerings that you bring into the world? I know a lot of you guys work in a variety of different things, but what I realize is that the only person that sets the value is right here. There's a lot of people that can have a lot of opinions about what the value is. And I personally think in my own programs of being from working in this world for 16, 17 years, I know people I started with that have at least 1 to 2 zeros on things that similar programs that we're doing. And I sometimes am like, I should charge more. But I've also been like, there's a very specific niche of people that I feel like I'm wanting to reach, and I do reach. And I find if the value goes up more, that some of those individuals get lost in a way. And I love and I value that other people put more zeros on their programs, and it's beautiful. And I know some people have been doing this for 30 years and still charge, €100 for a session and things like that. And that's just the value they're at. Who's right? Who's wrong? Nobody. I always think of the Rumi quote when I look at these things, like out beyond the ideas between wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, and I'll meet you there. So what one person's value is isn't the wrong or right thing. What your value is isn't the wrong or right thing. And if you're working in industries that set the value for what you need to do, then you have another organizational structure that's impacting the value that you can put in. And this was also my journey in coaching. I came from a maritime military world where everything was very structured. It had to be very clear. I worked with this amount for this job, I get this paid this amount. And I realized that when I went into more coaching work and transformational work, I didn't want any body or governing agency to tell me how I was going to work, what prices I had to set, or anything else like that. I wanted the freedom to be able to work that way, because what I've witnessed, especially the last 10 years, is the more value that I know that I'm providing, and not just a value of, oh, I'm going to add a zero to the amount people are paying, but the value that I'm witnessing in people's lives, that's the impact where I'm like, fuck, actually, I'm recognizing the need to charge more. And that's really the place where I've increased in prices and things like that, because A, there's more of a demand coming in, and I'm recognizing that my time and energy for the value I'm offering, I need to value that as something where I feel good about it. And that's a continual journey and meeting of yourself more and more. And I know a lot of you work in different realms of this world. Some of you do, some of you don't. This, to me, is where you find your true essence. You find, like, when I'm making the exchange, like I just got a massage this morning, and that was the value that she put upon it for that hour and a half massage. And it's like, that's okay, beautiful. In Bali, when I get a massage, it's a different value. In Switzerland, when I get a massage, that's a different value. These are values based upon location, place, society, all these things. Is one right or wrong? No, it's just different qualities of understanding the value in the circumstance and the situation that you're in. So I share all of this so the mind can actually begin to recognize the balance of value, time, and energy that's always happening in our lives. It's happening in every area of life. And what the invitation is to find more of, well, how do you bring your value into the world as a way of really the essence of your soul shining itself, not your ego, which I know for me in my maritime world, and Shiva and what he was sharing, like, made a lot of money but felt a bit empty inside. There was just the mind that was acquiring it. And I knew that I needed to do something where I could wake up every day and say, yes, I fucking love this work. I would do these retreats, I would do coaching sessions, regardless of whether or not I was getting paid. I do get paid because I recognize the value that's in it, that wants to expand how I'm showing up in the footprint that I'm making in the planet. That was part of the inspiration for writing a book. I make money through that, but I wanted to reach more people with that. There's a few other books that are coming through me. So this is the value and the impact that you have as a being that can then impact those around you, that can then understand, I can bring this value to the world, and I can actually know that value that's inside of me as well. Deep breath in.
There is no one on this planet who is the same as anyone else. And if you have a unique product that nobody else can create, can't you charge whatever you want for that product? Every single one of us is absolutely unique. If we're sweeping the floors, there's not much uniqueness that you can bring into sweeping the floors, and everyone's going to get paid the same. But if you create your own flavor, your own music, and you bring that into the world, and we do coaching, but we're very different. What someone gets from Aaron is going to be different from what they get from me, or through me and through Aaron. The changes that people have in their life, the way Aaron does it could bring some other kind of transformation, but for some reason they choose me or they choose Aaron, and through the work that we do, they are able to bring transformation into their life that they haven't been able to do by themselves. That is unique. You can't put a price on that. I have a question on my brochure. What is your transformation worth to you? If you knew absolutely, if I give this person money, I'm going to change my fucking life, wouldn't you just give them everything that you have? And if you know that this person is a unique being and they're going to bring a flavor to you that you could not bring by yourself, then you would do it. And this is why there are coaches out there who charge hundreds of thousands. And it's this kind of value that we need to look at here. I am a unique being. I bring a unique flavor to this planet. and I deserve to receive from that. Deep breath.
So the last thing I want to just bring forth is, if you look at, these are two pieces of currency, both printed currency. This one, 1,000, used to be, I think it was 20, 30 years ago, 1,000, just like this would be 1,000. This was 100. There were 10 of these, that would be 1,000. Now this is worth 1/100th of this. This is like $1 in Argentina. So I share this because it's value that's put on this that runs a lot of the world. We're saying that this can buy me a certain thing in the world. This can buy me, something at the 99-cent store. 30, 30 years ago, I don't know the exact timeline, this is Argentina, this was worth $1,000. Now, $1. Just think about that in terms of value and power in this paper currency, whatever that means for you. Deep breath in.